enterprise, because there are so many good things in SMEs which cannot really happen in very large size companies, like the good relation between the owner of the company, because it's a small company, and some entrepreneurship ideas, innovative ways. Of course, it depends also on the ethics, also the behavior of the apprentice, how he or she can get this good relationship with the employer, with the people who are working in the enterprise. So to me, SMEs can really be very good in this apprenticeship program, because there is a good environment, friendly environment, small company, and you have good access, to the owner who has made this business by himself or herself. And this is in most cases kind of family business, private sector. So, but anyway, coming back to your question, for this good agreement, we need to be very clear and this common understanding from both sides. And we need to have support from outsiders, especially from the training center, because during the apprenticeship, you need to be also well connected to your training provider, to your training institute, because there are some issues you need to go back to during apprenticeship. You need to go back to your training institute and to check with your, let's say, masters, with your teachers or trainers in vocational school. And that's exactly the way it works in dual vocational education in Germany, that you spend time like 70–80% in working place, and then 20–30% you go to your training center to explore some more on theory side, because there are some questions and some issues you need to find the answers from your trainers in the school, in college. So that's why they also need to be part of this agreement, because it's not just something out of training, it's part of the training. That's why you need to have it as one picture. Then that agreement should cover also the roles and responsibilities of the training institute, training provider, which is linked to your apprenticeship program. So yeah, I think.
So wonderful, wonderful. Actually, the agreement between apprentice and the employer should have clarity about the responsibility of both the parties. Sure. And not only the apprentice, but also their parents, maybe in some time, also the stakeholder organization, they should know what are the specific condition and roles and responsibility of each party. You have also mentioned that they should have proper health safety facilities during work. And also, very importantly, they came from an institute as a part of their degree or their course to do the apprenticeship. So obviously, they should have a proper link with their supervisors in the institute for completing rest of the academic tasks. You have also mentioned that a good assessment system should be there, not only providing a certificate that he has completed a 3-month apprenticeship in XYZ company. Just start with a specific curriculum. After completing the apprenticeship or internship, they should sit for an assessment, maybe 2 days assessment. Maybe it could be practical, just for an operator, whether he can run the machine properly, whether he can solve a problem, whether he can troubleshoot a problem of a particular machine, or if it is relevant to soft skills, whether he is capable to produce that particular task for the organization. So a good assessment system can ensure quality result of this apprenticeship. Thank you very much. Now my next question to you: how can we get the workplace ready for training as well as high quality apprenticeship program? How the companies should prepare themselves?
I think it goes back to maybe our first question. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of reviewing maybe what we already discussed, but just as a summary or wrap up, we need to support. When we say we, I think now I'm mainly
Yeah.
focusing on the role players, like international role players, national
Yeah.
governance system. It needs to support those companies or enterprises where they want to get the apprentices, and they want to provide that learning environment. So we need to provide them support. So that support we already talked, it can be some incentives, it can be some financial support. So that's one thing. Second, they need to have knowledge support in a way that they need to identify a few keen uh, persons, individuals from that company who can take the role as trainer for this apprenticeship. Because if we don't have those key people in the company or enterprise, we have the machines, we have the environment, we have the construction, we have the operation, we have the servicing, and someone is doing his job, but the student is watching, but is not really learning enough. So because there is no interaction, good communication, and also some skills I, as engineer, need to have in a way that I can be successful to transfer something as experience and knowledge and skills to that apprentice who is supposed to learn something. So we need to support, and we need to, again, it goes back to role players, because the owner is already busy with different things, and maybe for them also it's not really possible to focus enough, to understand what are the gaps for their own people. I mean, engineers who need to be good trainers. So in each company, depends on the size, we need to identify those people who can do this role, and where we expect them to be engaged with this learning process, they should know. So that's why they need to have some pedagogic, for example, skills, how to transfer this knowledge to apprentices. So these are the things we need to get it included in our capacity building programs for those enterprises who are in the scope of apprenticeship programs. So let's say if Chamber of Commerce in Dhaka, for example, or in other provinces, you want to provide this support, it can be part of your advisory support for those companies to have some short-term training programs for those enterprises who are in the concept of, especially when we talk about SMEs, because usually in big companies, maybe we have enough personnel, who can take the role as trainer. But in a small company, we are talking about maybe 5, 10 staff members, and maybe they are not really good trainers, but they can be good trainer if they learn something. So this is something we need to support. Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Industry, or other ministries, depends on the nature of the work and the enterprises who are engaged. They can provide some sort of, knowledge support to those companies. We need to get the this is also kind of innovative ways I've seen, that when we talk about the training facilities and tools, it can be also supported by some business people who are promoting their tools. They can give those tools for their own marketing purpose, or advertisement purpose to those companies who are doing apprenticeship. So for example, if I'm a company selling some tools, so it can be kind of possible way, to get those companies, but this needs also to be handled by maybe chambers or some really good role players from the government, or it can be also from the private sector as chamber, that to make these things linked, that those tools can be used by the companies as a kind of advertisement for those tools by the trainers and also by the apprentices. So imagine, I'm the owner of the company and I'm producing some sort of maybe air conditioning units. And there is another company who is selling some sort of tools and equipment. And for their own advertisement, they can give something as gift to my company. And I'm using that gift, the tools, for the trainees who are getting this apprenticeship in my company. But this is whole concept of advertisement and the marketing, because my apprentice, after finishing the work, if he or she goes to the labor market, or the person stays with my company, that person will have a very good image from that brand of the tool, because this is something he or she has used during apprenticeship as a gift received from that company. So these are the kind of, arrangements should be done and can be done. We can even use the logo of that company who has donated those tools for our training facility, to put it, that logo in front of the company, to show or respect, for those companies who are contributing. So if we collect all these kind of, elements, and we put everything together, I think we are making good environment, good learning environment for having very good quality apprenticeship. The time is limit, we cannot really go too deep, but I'm just trying, to give some examples and some maybe practical experiences from what I've learned from visiting some companies, especially in Germany. I could see the logos of those companies who were contributing in apprenticeship program. So it means that that apprenticeship is not just a matter of the company and the location and that person coming, because there are some outsiders also who have contributed. Maybe they donated some training equipment, they donated some products to be used, as like for making the practice. So anything or any role player contributed somehow, it should be recognized. So that recognition means, you pay your respect and you get more contribution in the future. But if I get something as gift or as a contribution, but I don't recognize, and there is no kind of good recognition system, that maybe in the future they don't want to contribute